Hola guys and girls, and welcome to my first BT6 Digimon deck showcase, and we are going to showcase this time the blue updated Thrashing variant around Hexeblaumon and AZU-HEX. This was definitely not the first deck I planned to make a deck check on, but my pulls just kind of turned out that way, that I had more AZU-HEX than Gabumon Bond of Friendship. But yeah, I'm going to show you this. This basically, when Gabumon Bond of Friendship is like the blue aggro deck, this is more like blue control, blue mid-range. But yeah, let me show you first what this deck is about. So what we want to do, of course, Hexeblaumon is already known from BT5, very nice control tool. With the when attacking effect, trash up to 2 Digivolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains jamming. So first of all, more trashing and it gets jamming when attacking. But the important part is the second effect, an all turns effect. Your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't attack or block. Which basically means they're stunned. They're on the board, they can't do anything, and yeah, they're just sitting there doing nothing. So yeah, you just keep removing Digivolution sources till the Hexeblaumon's effect can trigger, and yeah, you win by that. And another tool we got, like this is the control side of the deck basically, which we could do already in BT5, but what we got now is AZU-HEX, which is a very nice potential OTK tool for this deck, which gives it a lot more reach and a lot of more yeah, win potential in some matches. Because some matches Hexeblaumon is going to be the king, and other AZU-HEX is going to be the king. And yeah, AZU-HEX is the new tool in BT6 with your ban Digible effect. Trash one Digivolution card from the bottom of all of your opponent's Digimon, then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards. Digivolution cost of 5, of course. This reduction is very important, so you can get it down to 3 or even lower. I even got games where you can play this for free, which is pretty nice. And then the important part is the your turn effect. For each Digimon with no Digivolution cards your opponent has in play, this Digimon gains Security Tech +1. So yeah, opponent has 3 cards without Digivolution sources, Security Tech +3. He checks 4 securities away with 13k. That's a lot of power with a lot of security checks, and can lead to some nice OTK scenarios with this AZU-HEX, which you can play for free or for very little. And yeah, that's what the deck is about. Let's start from the bottom now with our rookie lineup and go on from there. So these are level 6, I already told you, like these are the main reason we play this deck, it's because of these level 6 Digimon. So how do we get there? Of course we start with our Tamers, not the rookies, and our Tamer lineup is 4 Kiarumon and 1 Oppoinent. I prefer Kiarumon, it's a new Digimon in BT6 as well, which inheritable effect your turn, once per turn. When one of your opponent's Digivolution cards is trashed, trigger draw 1, and of course Oppoinent from BT1, you already know that he does. When attacking, if your opponent has Digimon with no Digivolution cards in play, trigger draw 1. Since we are... at first I had more Oppoinent than Kiarumon, but in playtesting it just turned out we got trash so many cards. It happens way more often than attacking with Oppoinent. Kiarumon is actually nice if you have like a Digimon with the Kiarumon source here and they have another one here, and you just trash, you get both effects trigger and you draw 1. With Oppoinent, if I would have 2 Oppoinents on the field, like with sources of course, with cards over it, I would have to attack with both to trigger both of them. Kiarumon is very nice in that regard, that you can play a bit more passive, a bit more reactive, and still get a lot of draws going on, way more if you would with Oppoinent. So yeah, this is my Tamer lineup right here. And now for the rookies. So the rookie lineup, of course, you gotta have the same as Hexeblaumon, which you had already, which are 4 of the Promo Gomamon and 4 of the Bulukumon. So they both have the same inheritable effect. They have different, of course, hard play cost, different DP numbers, but the effect is your turn, once per turn, when you trash a Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon, gain 1 memory. So this gives you a lot of room to play with, because once you start trashing, you gain a lot of memory, especially if you have multiple of these on the field. It makes a lot of these plays cheaper or even free, which, yeah, if the board is set up correctly, like if you get to the mid to late game and you can trash a lot of cards and you have a good amount of these on the field, you just have so many things you can do, and it's pretty insane. And yeah, it's the best inheritable you can ask for a rookie in this kind of deck. So yeah, this is pretty standard, 8 in total of those. And yeah, now I play a total of 13 rookies, which is a little bit less than my standard rookie lineup, but we come to a reason why that is later on. I play 3 of the Jamming Vmon and 2 Modoki Betamon. So first let's talk about the Jamming Vmon, because I think that's very interesting. So we don't have any synergy with jamming. Like rookie with jamming, of course, is nice because in attack security it will most likely survive and you can start chipping down on that. But what Vmon does in this deck is, for one, it's very easy to attack with that without pretty much losing anything, which is important for our Tamer, which we come later on to. And another thing which I notice is pretty nice, if I attack with that and have a suspended Vmon on the field, the opponent is very much inclined to kill it, to just attack into it and kill it. Because otherwise I get a second attack off and I just keep chipping down security with my rookie, which is like very great value. And this is what we want out of him. We want the opponent to put their Digimon out of the raising area into the battle area, so we can start basically hitting their sources, because as long as they're in the raising area, we can't reduce their sources, they aren't stunned, we don't get any other benefits. We want them, Digimon from the raising area, to hit the field as fast as possible on the opponent's side, and Vmon does a great job at baiting these Digimon out. Since he's suspended, he's very easy to remove, but he has to have a Digimon which can attack, which most likely will come out of the raising area, because that's of course one of the counterplay you can do to Hexeblaumon. Just keep leveling up your Digimon in the raising area, so I can't remove the sources and get rid of important inheritables and stuff like that. And yeah, then we have two Moteki Betamon. That's just a meta call. There are a lot of cards, decks in the current metagame which give you memory to do different stuff. Moteki Betamon just stops that. Effect is all turns. Your opponents can't gain memory except with table effects. So pretty straightforward. Versus us is pretty nice as well, since we do have, like I said, the other rookies which gain additional memory. It would stop opposing AZU-Longmon to gain memory. So yeah, just a meta call to have two of these in the deck. Like I said, Vmon is a bit more strategic in that regard. The more what the deck does is more counter what the turn meta does. But yeah, that is my rookie lineup, 13 in total. Now we go to the level 4, the champion Digimon. We have 12 there in total, which is our standard lineup. And first of all, let's start with our blocker lineup. We have 3 Koelamon, of course, with the 1 Digilution cost, very nice, and 3 Grizzlymon. So 7 blocker in total, which is a lot. But this helps us to play a bit more defensively, be a bit more control on what gets attacked when our security gets removed, and gives us the reach to lead into that mid to late game when this deck really shines and starts going off. So yeah, having a lot of blockers, of course, pretty nice. We prefer the 1 cost blocker over the 2 cost blocker for obvious reasons, so we can get faster to our level 6 Digimon, which is the goal of this deck. And yeah, play a lot of blockers. That's basically all I can say. It helps you get your reach, and of course helps with the more aggressive lineups, decks which are running around just stopping their attacks, which is pretty nice. And then we have 4 Tobyumon. I play Tobyumon in this deck over Gorillamon for a very important reason, which is the hard play cost of 3. And that is important because we do have a lot of, like all of our level 5s have when Digivolve effects. So that means hard playing our level 4 is not as bad as another scenarios, and that's why I want to have the level 4 with the lowest hard play cost, in this case in Tobyumon, so I can put one of my level 5 on that, trigger the when Digivolve effect and gain value that way. And yeah, for raising area it doesn't make a difference, even with only 3000 DP. It's of course very easily removed by yellow and red cards running around. But if you keep him in the raising area, he's pretty safe, and of course he has the 1 Digilution cost, which is pretty nice, which gives us the speed to get to our high level Digimon as fast as possible. And then I have a 1-off of Lobomon. That's just a very nice. I like to play 1-off of these hybrid Digimon a lot in my decks, especially if I play a lot of Tamers, and this deck just have a good amount of Tamers. So it's there for the 1 surprise attack you can sometimes pull off. And yeah, did save me in some matches, but of course in most matches you're not going to draw it, it's only 1-off. But I think for 1-off it can actually do pretty nicely, especially in the best of 3. If the opponent sees that you have level 1, he always has to play around it, even though you only have 1 in the deck, you might not even have it. So yeah, that's Lobomon for you. That's my champion lineup. Not too much to talk about. They're just mainly there to either be a blocker or to enable our level 5 and above plays. And now to our level 5 Digimon, we play 4 times, of course, the known from BT5, the Crispaldramon, and 4 times the new one from BT6, which is Majiramon. So first Crispaldramon, of course, known for the Digivolve effect. You get to trash the bottom card of all of your opponent's Digimon, so once more some trashing with a nice Digivolve effect, and a great inheritable with the effect of your turn. If your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets security check +1. This is of course the card you want to have under Hexeblaumon, because additional security checks with jamming is of course always nice. You can just get rid of a lot of security. And Majiramon, on the other hand, has a weaker when Digivolve effect, because it only trashes the Digivolution card from the top of one of your opponent's Digimon. So it only trashes 1, but it is from the top, to be fair. And the inheritable effect is, when attacking once per turn, if your opponent has no Digimon with Digivolution cards in play, unsuspend this Digimon. So this is a bit more restrictive. For this, you only have, the opponent needs to have one Digimon with no Digivolution cards. With this, the whole board is not allowed to have any Digivolution cards. But the fun thing is, if your opponent has no Digimon on the board, this effect counts as well. So yeah, that's pretty nice. If the opponent tries to play around too much, your trashing, and keeps this Digimon in the raising area, he enables Majiramon potentially to allow our Digimon to attack twice, be it with Hexeblaumon, which is pretty nice. or be it with our mainly AZU-Longmon, because with AZU-Longmon, if you have multiple security checks, attacking twice at that thing can just win you the game in an instant. So yeah, there's that. Like I said, these are our level 5 Digimon. They all have good Wind Digiball effects, which help with our strategy. That's why we do have the Torbjorn to be able to get these Wind Digiball effect more often than not, because obviously our deck is still a Digivolve deck. We want to get to our level 6, so sometimes we are forced to raise in our raising area as well, and then of course when Digiball effects don't trigger. So now of course our level 7 lineup. The only thing I will talk about here is why I decided to go with 4 Hexeblaumon and 3 AZU-Longmon. And that's pretty straightforward, because Hexeblaumon is something you want to have more in the early game, where AZU-Longmon is something you want more in the mid to late game. And yeah, that's why I have more Hexeblaumon, so because in the early game you didn't draw as much. So yeah, I want to increase the chances of getting Hexeblaumon in the early game, so I have 4 of them and 3 of AZU-Longmon. But they both serve very different purposes, but very strong purposes as well. So that's why I don't want to only play 2 AZU-Longmon, I decided to still go with 3. But yeah, this is my level 7 lineup. Already talked what they do. This is just for the distribution, a little bit more inside. And yeah, we have 2 level 7 Digimon as well. I played 2 of the Blitz level 7 Omnimon, and that's pretty straightforward. This is the Digimon which allows us to OTK with AZU-Longmon, because sometimes with AZU-Longmon you can just chip the whole security away with one attack. You put a Blitz Omnimon on that and go for the kill. So very easy to win like that. Even if the opponent has blocker on the field, if you have a Hexeblaumon, of course, blockers with no sources are not allowed to block. So yeah, this is basically the OTK strategy of the deck in case you are able to win like that. So now to the Tamers, pretty straightforward. Sora Joe, awesome tamer for the deck. We play 4 of them because it's just so good for the deck. Of course, the start of your turn effect, if your opponent has a Digimon with no Digivolution cards, gain 2 memory. So very easy to gain a lot of memory once the opponent only has 1 Digimon with no Digivolution cards. And of course, the your turn effect, when one of my blue Digimon attacks, I may suspend this tamer to trash the 2 bottom Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. So from the few from all the double tamers are running around, this is actually one of the, I don't know if it's the only one, but one of the few where the your turn effect actually helps with the start of the turn effect. Like if I trash, of course, it's more likely the opponent will have Digimon with no Digivolution sources, unless I get all the memory I want. And yeah, these are only tamers. We only play 4 of them. We only need 1 of them to get to our free memory and stuff like that. We do gain additional memory through our our rookies. Bulukumon and Goemon to be specific, but yeah, this is Sora Joe, pretty straightforward. We play 4 of them. Of course, this is a good amount of tamers, which allows our Lobemon to have a target more often than not. But yeah, these are the tamer lineup. Let's put these away, and now we have 4 options as well. First, we have, of course, known from BT5 as well, 2 Absolute Blast, which is a very nice removal for the deck. Has the effect, trash the bottom Digivolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then return one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck. So it's better than bouncing, it's better than destroying, because on deletion effects don't trigger. We just put them on the bottom of the deck for only 6 memory. And yeah, enabling this is very easy in this deck. Like I already showed you, we have a lot of trashing going around. Sometimes you just have to attack with a rookie to trigger Sora Joe, trash 2 cards, then with this you trash another one, and boom, you can put something on the bottom of their deck. So yeah, just a very nice removal option, which activates in security as well. And then last, we have a new card for this deck, which is the Howling Memory Boost, which is pretty nice. It's a free cost, one of the delay blue option cards, which has the effect trash up to 2 Digivolution cards from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, one of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards can't block or attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's basically the effect of Hexeblaumon, but just for 1 turn, that we can stun 1 Digimon and trash, and of course it has the delay effect, so later on we can get 2 memory with this card to, yeah, keep generating us memory to allow us doing a lot of different plays with this deck, which is pretty fun. But yeah, this is our deck for this set. AZU-Longmon and Hexeblaumon, of course, the MVPs of this. Most of the times I play this deck, I just stall with Hexeblaumon a lot of time. The opponent has to always remove them before they actually do stuff, and this gives me the time for opponent to develop a board till AZU-Longmon can just go for the OTK, which is, yeah, pretty satisfying way to win. Like all this setup and then win with AZU-Longmon. But yeah, that's all for this deck. If you enjoyed this deck profile, of course, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That's yeah, that's my standard outro. Not much to say there, but yeah, let me know what you think. That's all from me. I will see you another time. Ciao.